What is it about the dark that terrifies us? Growing up, I always remembered being afraid of the dark. But when asked why it was that I was actually afraid of it, I never had a good answer. It wasn't until years later that I realized that my fear of the dark wasn't due to any color or shade. It was simply due to the fact that what lies in the dark is unknown. Tonight, we will take a look at the unknown and learn about the mysterious lizard man of Scape Ore Swamp. Thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, Joseph Jordan, and I hope you enjoy this episode of the Scary, Strange, and Outright Odd Show. Our story begins with a reported sighting of a horrifying creature. It was made by Christopher Davis, a 17-year-old local of Lee County, South Carolina, who said he encountered the creature while driving home from work at around 2 a.m. on June 29, 1988. According to his account, Davis stopped on the road bordering Scape Ore Swamp in order to change a tire that had blown out. When he was finishing up, he reported having heard a thumping noise from behind him and having turned around to see the creature running towards him. Davis said the creature tried to grab at the car and that it jumped on top of its roof as he tried to escape, clinging onto it as Davis swerved from side to side in a desperate effort to throw it off. After he returned home, Davis's side view mirror was found to be badly damaged, and scratch marks were found on the car's roof, though there was no other physical evidence of this encounter. Davis made the following statement. I looked back and saw something running across the field towards me. It was about 25 yards away, and I saw red eyes glowing. I ran into the car, and as I locked it, the thing grabbed the door handle. I could see him from the neck down. The 3 big fingers, long black nails, and green, rough skin. It was strong and angry. I looked in my mirror and saw a blur of green running. I could see his toes, and then he jumped on the roof of my car. I thought I heard a grunt, and then I could see his fingers through the front windshield, where they curled around on the roof. I sped up and swerved just to shake the creature off. Chris's father had seen a story that ran in the newspaper of a strange car mauling, not completely unlike the one that his son, Christopher Davis, had told him. Chris's father brought his terrified son to the Lee County Sheriff's Office on July 16, 1988, at which time he told his story to Sheriff Liston Truesdale. Now, you could argue that Davis's story simply was made up for the entirety of fame or a way to cover up his tracks due to an irresponsible night out. However, he wasn't the only person to have had something like this happen to him. Prior to Chris coming forward, the Lee County Sheriff's Office was called to the scene of another strange instance of vehicle damage. On the morning of July 14th, 1988, deputies made their way to a residence, which was located in a small rural community known as Browntown, on the outskirts of Bishopville, South Carolina. When they arrived, homeowners Tom and Mary Way showed them the vehicle in question. Police found that the chrome molding had been torn away from the fenders. The sides of the car were scratch and dented, and the hood ornament was broken. The antenna was bent, and even some wires from the motor had been ripped out. Upon closer inspection, it appeared that parts of the molding had actually been chewed, as if an animal had used its teeth to inflict the damage. To further support the animal theory, the Ways pointed out clumps of reddish-colored hair and muddy footprints that had been left all over the car. While Sheriff Truesdale investigated the car, locals informed him that there might yet be another, more bizarre possibility. Quote, while we were looking over this situation, we learned that people in Browntown community had been seeing a strange creature about 7 feet tall with red eyes, end quote. Truesdale also told us some of them described it as green, but some of them as brown. they thought it might be responsible for what happened to the car. Despite there being a couple of other supposed sightings, none were as credible as Davis's and the Way couple. A few came forward with accounts of witnessing the lizard man, but none held much evidence, and most were completely debunked as hoaxes. However, as recently as August 2nd, 2015, a woman going only by the name of Sarah claimed to have seen the lizard man and taken a photo of him. The problem with her story is that the photo is an obvious fake at best, and a cheap advertisement for a lame costume at worst. While we may never know the truth about the lizard man of Scape Ore Swamp, or the reliability of those who claim to have seen or had property damage done by the lizard man, one thing is for sure: he remains an unknown mystery. So to that I ask, what do you, the listener, think of the lizard man of Scape Ore Swamp? Until next time, thank you for listening to the Scary, Strange, and Outright Odd Show. And I'm your host, Joseph Jordan, reminding you that the truth is always out there.